Bandeyam Sri Guru Sri Yata Prakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Sja Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishikam Vitam Sja Om Jnana Timarandasya Ganashana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bishtam Supurakam Garganara Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govindabhidam Ujwalam Bharatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Mande Vishwa Karanansha Divyat Bhagavat Prem Noe Bijapradam Devam Divyatanum Suchanda Varanam Balarka Chilanshitam Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Varanam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Vandetam Shubharam Mareka Sharanam Yashishwara Sridharam Vanshakopatarubyasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, with translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And this is Antya-lila chapter 6. Lord Chaitanya meets Raghunath das Goswami. And I'll start with verse number 154. Tarapada duli loya svagrihe aila Nityananda kripapaya kritarta manila. After taking dust from the feet of Raghava Pandit, Raghunath Das returned to his home, feeling greatly obligated to Lord Nityananda Prabhu because of having received his merciful benediction. Se hoite abhyantare na koranagaman bahire durga mandape jaya korana shayan. From that day on, he did not go into the interior section of the house. Instead, he would sleep on the Durga Mandapa, the place where Mother Durga was worshipped. That's like the outside portion of the house for holding programs and for receiving guests, and it's distinguished from the inner portion where the family lives. So, in other words, Raghunath das Goswami is now staying almost, you might say, outside of the house, but still on the property. Taha jage rohe sab rakaka gana palaite korana nana upaya chintana. There, however, the watchmen alertly kept guard. Raghunath Das was thinking of various means by which to escape their vigilance. Henakale goda desher Sabhaktagan Prabhare Dekite Nilachale Korila Gaman. At that time, all the devotees of Bengal were going to Jagannath Puri to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tasavar Sange Raghunatha Jaitena Pare Prasida Prakata Sangha Tabahin Darapade. Raghunath Das could not accompany them, for they were so famous that he would have been caught immediately. Emata chindite daive ekadine bahere devi mandape korejachan shayane dandachari ratrijabe ache abasesh Yarunandana Charyatabe Korila Pravesh. Thus Raghunath das thought deeply about how to escape, and one night while he was sleeping on the Durga Mandapa, the priest Yadunandana Acharya entered the house when only 4 dandas remained until the end of the night. Vasudeva datter te ho hoi anugrihita Raghunath guru te ho hoi purohita. Yadunandana Acharya was the priest and spiritual master of Raghunath das. Although born in a Brahmin family, he had accepted the mercy of Vasudeva Datta. Advaita Acharya Teho Sishya Antaranga Acharya Agyate Mane Chaitanya Pranadana. Yadunandana Acharya had been officially initiated by Advaita Acharya. Thus he considered Lord Chaitanya his life and soul. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that although the atheists who have deviated from the order of Sri Advaita Acharya introduce themselves as followers of Advaita Acharya, they do not accept Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Yadunandana Acharya, one of the most confidential followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was the initiated disciple of Advaita Acharya. He was not polluted by sentimental distinctions classifying Vaishnavas according to birth. Therefore, although Vasudeva Datta had not been born in a Brahmin family, Yadunandana Acharya also accepted him as his spiritual master. Angane asiyateho jabe dandaila Raghunatha asitabe dandabat koila. When Yadunandana Acharya entered the house of Raghunath das and stood in the courtyard, Raghunath das went there and fell down to offer his obeisances. Tara ek sishyatara takorer seva kore seva chari ache tare sadibara tare. One of Yadunandana Acharya's disciples had been worshipping the deity but had left that service. Yadunandana Acharya wanted Raghunath das to induce the disciple to take up that service again. Raghunathe kohe tare koraha sadan seva jena koryara nahika brahman. Yadunandana Acharya requested Raghunath das, please induce the Brahmin to resume the service, for there is no other Brahmin to do it. Etakohe Raghunathe loya chalila rakaka sab sesha ratre nidraya parila. After saying this, Yadunandana Acharya took Raghunath das with him and went out. By that time, all the watchmen were deeply asleep because it was the end of the night. Acharya ragara ihar purva dishate kohite shunite duhe chali se pate. East of the house of Raghunath das was the house of Yadunandana Acharya. Yadunandana Acharya and Raghunath das talked together as they went toward that house. Ardapate Raghunatha kohe gurur charane amise bipre sadi pataimu tomastane. Halfway along the path, Raghunath das submitted at the lotus feet of his spiritual master. I shall go to the home of that Brahmin, induce him to return, and send him to your home. Tumi suke gare jaha more agya hoy echale agya mage korila nisjoy. You may go home without anxiety. Following your order, I shall persuade the Brahmin. On this plea, after asking permission, Raghunath das decided to go away. Sevaka rakaka ar keho nahi sange palaite amara balo aita prasange. Raghunath Das thought, this is the greatest opportunity to go away, because this time there are no servants or watchmen with me. Eta chinti purva muke korilagaman, ulatiya chahe pache nahi kon jan. Thinking in this way, he quickly proceeded toward the east. Sometimes he turned around and looked back, but no one was following him. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Charana Chintiya Patachari Upapate Jajena Daya. Thinking of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he left the general path and proceeded with great haste on the one not generally used. Grame gramer patachari jai bane bane kayamano bhakye chinte Chaitanya charane. Giving up the general path from village to village, he passed through the jungles, thinking with heart and soul about the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Panchadash Kroshapata Chali Gela Ek Dine Sandhya Kale Rohila Ek Gopera Batane. He walked about 30 miles in one day, and in the evening he took rest in the cowshed of a milkman. Upavase Deke Gop Dugda Anidila Se Dugda Paya Kori Pariya Rohila. When the milkman saw that Raghunath Das was fasting, he gave him some milk. Raghunath Das drank the milk and lay down to rest there for the night. Eta Tara Sevak Rakaka Tarina Dekiya Tara Guru Pashe Bharta Puchilena Giya. At the house of Raghunath Das, the servant and watchman, not seeing him there, immediately went to inquire about him from his spiritual master, Yadunandanacharya. Teo Kohe Agyamagi Gela Nijagar Palaila Raghunatha Utila Kolahal. Yadunandanacharya said, he has already asked my permission and returned home. Thus there arose a tumultuous sound as everyone cried, now Raghunath has gone away. Tarapita Kohe Godera Sabbaktagan Prabhustani Nilachale Korilagaman. Raghunath Das's father said, now all the devotees from Bengal have gone to Jagannath Puri to see Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Se sange Raghunatha Gela Palaya Dasha Jana Jahatare Anahadoriya. Raghunath Das has fled with him. 10 men should immediately go catch him and bring him back. Shivanande Patridila Vinoi Korea Amara Putrere Tumi Diva Bahudiya. Raghunath Das's father wrote a letter to Shivananda Sen asking him with great humility, please return my son. Jakara Parjantagela Sedashajane Jakarate Pailagiya Vaishnavaragane. In Jankar, the 10 men caught up with a group of Vaishnavas going to Nilachala. Patri Diya Shivanande Bharta Puchila Shivananda Koheteho Etana Aila. After delivering the letter, the men inquired from Shivananda Sen about Raghunath Das, but Shivananda Sen replied, he did not come here. Bahudiya Sedas Jana Ailagar Taramata Pita Hoila Chintita Antar. The 10 men returned home, and Raghunath Das's father and mother were filled with anxiety. Eta Raghunatha Das Prabhate Utiya Purvamukha Chari Chale Dakina Mukhahaya. Raghunath Das, who had been resting at the milkman's house, got up early in the morning. Instead of going to the east, he turned his face south and proceeded. Chatraboga, Parahaya, Chariya, Sharan, Kugrama, Diya, Korila, Prayan. He crossed Chatraboga, but instead of going on the general path, he proceeded on the path that went from village to village. Chatrabog, known now as Chadakadi, in the district of 24 Parganas in West Bengal. It is situated near the celebrated village Jagannath Majilapur. Formerly the Ganges, or some of its branches, flowed through this region. Sometimes Chatrabog is misunderstood to have been a village on the river Kansai Nadi in Benapole. Bakana apeka nahi samasta divasagaman kuda nahi bade chaitanya charana praptiman. Not caring about eating, he traveled all day. Hunger was not an impediment, for his mind was concentrated upon obtaining shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not caring about eating, he traveled all day. Hunger was not an impediment, for his mind was concentrated upon obtaining shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kabu charana, kabu randana, kabu dugdapan, jabije mile tahe, rake nijabran. Sometimes he chewed, sometimes he ate fried grains, sometimes he cooked, and sometimes he drank milk. In this way, he kept his life and soul together with whatever was available wherever he went. Bharadine Chaligela Sri Purushottama Patetina Dina Matra Korila Bhojana. He reached Jagannath Puri in 12 days, but could eat only for 3 days on the way. Swarupade Sahagosai Achanabasya Henakali Raghunatha Milila Asya. When Raghunath Das met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord was sitting with his companions, headed by Swarup Damodar. Anganete Dure Rohe Korana Pranipat Makunda Datta Kohe E Aila Raghunath. Staying at a distant place in the courtyard, he fell down to offer obeisances. Then Mukunda Datta said, "Here is Raghunath." Prabhu Kohen Aishateho Darila Charan Ute Prabhu Kripai Tare Koila Alingan. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard these words, he immediately welcomed Raghunath Das. "Come here," he said. Raghunath Das then clasped the lotus feet of the Lord, but the Lord stood up and embraced him out of his causeless mercy. Swarupadi Sabhakter Charana Bandila Prabhu Kripa Deki Sabe Alingana Koila. Raghunath Das offered prayers at the lotus feet of all the devotees, headed by Swarup Damodar Goswami. Seeing the special mercy that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had bestowed upon Raghunath Das, they embraced him also. Prabhu Kohe Krishna Kripa Balista Sab Hoite Tomare Kadila Vishaya Vishtagarta Hoite. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "The mercy of Lord Krishna is stronger than anything else. Therefore the Lord has delivered you from the ditch of materialistic life, which is like a hole into which people pass stool." According to the law of karma, everyone is destined to suffer or enjoy according to a certain material standard. But the mercy of Lord Krishna is so powerful that the Lord can change all the reactions of one's past karma or fruit of activities. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu specifically drew attention to the mercy of Lord Krishna. That mercy is more powerful than anything else. for it had saved Raghunath Das from the strong bondage of materialistic life, which the Lord compared to a hole where people pass stool. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave his verdict that those addicted to the materialistic way of life are like worms that are living in stool but cannot give it up. A griha-vrata, one who has decided to live in a comfortable home, although it is actually miserable, is in a condemned position. Only the mercy of Krishna can save one from such misery. Without Krishna's mercy, one cannot get out of the filthy entanglement of materialistic life. The poor living entity cannot give up his materialistic position on his own. Only when granted the special mercy of Krishna can he give it up. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew very well that Raghunath Das was already liberated. Nevertheless, he emphasized that Raghunath Das's life of material comfort as a very rich man's son with a very beautiful wife and many servants to attend him was like a ditch of stool. The Lord thus specifically indicated that ordinary men, which are very happy with material comforts and family life, are in no better position than worms in stool. Raghunath mani ko he Krishna nahi jani, taba kripa kadila ama e ami mani. Raghunath Das answered within his mind, I do not know who Krishna is. I simply know that your mercy, O my Lord, has saved me from my family life. Prabhu Kohen Tomara Pita Jeshta Duijane Chakrabarti Sambande Hama Aja Korimane. The Lord continued, your father and his elder brother are both related as brothers to my grandfather, Nilambar Chakravarti. Therefore, I consider them my grandfathers. Nilambar Chakravarti, the grandfather of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was very intimately related to Raghunath Das's father and uncle. Nilambar Chakravarti used to call them his younger brothers because both of them were very much devoted to the Brahmins and were very respectable gentlemen. Similarly, they used to call him Dada Chakravarti, addressing him as an elder brother Brahmin. Raghunath Das, however, was almost the same age as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Generally, a grandchild may joke about his grandfather. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took advantage of the relationship between his grandfather and Raghunath Das's father and uncle to speak in a joking way. Chakrabartir duhe hoy bratri Rupa das ateva taryami kore parihas. Since your father and his elder brother are younger brothers of Nilambar Chakravarti, I may joke about them in this way. Tomara bap jeshta vishai vishta garter kida sukha kore mane vishai vishara mahapida. My dear Raghunath Das, your father and his elder brother are just like worms in stool in the ditch of material enjoyment. For the great disease of the poison of material enjoyment is what they consider happiness. When a man is attached to material enjoyment, he is attached to many miserable conditions, but nevertheless he accepts his condemned position as one of happiness. Sense enjoyment is so strong for such a person that he cannot give it up, exactly as a worm in stool cannot give up the stool. From the spiritual point of view, when a person is too absorbed in material enjoyment, he is exactly like a worm in stool. Although such a position is utterly miserable to the eyes of liberated souls, the materialistic enjoyer is greatly attached to it. Jajapi Brahmanya Kore Brahmanera Sahai Shuddha Vaishnava Nahe Hoye Vaishnavera Prai. Although your father and uncle are charitable to Brahmins and greatly help them, they are nevertheless not pure Vaishnavas. However, they are almost like Vaishnavas. They are like Vaishnavera Prai, almost like Vaishnavas. As stated by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, as As stated by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasha, some people, usually very rich men, dress like Vaishnavas and give charity to Brahmins. They are also attached to deity worship, but because of their attachment to material enjoyment, they cannot be pure Vaishnavas. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. The pure Vaishnava has no desire for material enjoyment. That is the basic qualification of a pure Vaishnava. There are men, especially rich men, who regularly worship the deity, give charity to Brahmins, and are pious in every respect, but they cannot be pure Vaishnavas. Despite their outward show of Vaishnavism and charity, their inner desire is to enjoy a higher standard of material life. Raghunath Das's father, Govardhan, and uncle Hiranyadas were both very charitable to Brahmins. Indeed, the Brahmins from the Gaudiya district were practically dependent upon them. Thus they were accepted as very pious, gentle people, Thus they were accepted as very pious gentlemen. However, they presented themselves as Vaishnavas to the eyes of people in general, although from a purely spiritual point of view, they were ordinary human beings, not pure Vaishnavas. Actually, Vaishnavas considered them almost Vaishnavas, not pure Vaishnavas. In other words, they were Kanishtadhikaris, for they were ignorant of higher Vaishnava regulative principles. Nevertheless, they could not be called Vishayis, or blind materialistic enjoyers. Tatapi Vishayaras Swabhava Koremaha Anda Se Karma Karaya Jate Hoy Baba Banda. Those who are attached to materialistic life and are blind to spiritual life must act in such a way that they are bound to repeated birth and death by the actions and reactions of their activities. As clearly stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Yagyartat karmano yatra loko yam karma bandhana. If one does not act as a pure devotee, whatever acts he performs will produce reactions of fruit of bondage, karma bandhana. Similarly, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Nunam brahmata kurute vikarma yat indriya pritaya aprinoti nasaru manye yata atmanoyam asanapi kleshada ashadeha. A materialistic person, madly engaged in activities for sense enjoyment, does not know that he is entangling himself in repeated birth and death, and that his body, although temporary, is full of miseries. A Vishayi is a Vishayi, a person blindly caught in a web of materialistic life, remains in the cycle of birth and death perpetually. Such a person cannot understand how to execute pure devotional service, and therefore he acts as a karmi, jnani, yogi, or something else according to his desire. But he does not know that the activities of karma, jnana, and yoga simply bind one to the cycle of birth and death. Hena Vishai Hoite Krishna Udarila Toma Kahanana Jai Krishna Kripara Mahima. By his own free will, Lord Krishna has delivered you from such a condemned materialistic life. Therefore, the glories of Lord Krishna's causeless mercy cannot be expressed. Raghunath Kinata Malinya Dehiya Swarupere Kohen Prabhu Kriparda Chittahaya. Sing Raghunath das skinny and dirty because of having traveled for 12 days and fasted. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his heart melting due to causeless mercy, spoke to Swarup Damodar. E Raghunath Ami Sanpinu Tomare Putra Britya Rupe Tumi Kora Angikare. My dear Swarup, he said, I entrust this Raghunath Das to you. Please accept him as your son or servant. Tina Raghunath Nama Hoya Amaragane Swarupera Raghu Aji Hoite Ihara Name. There are now 3 Raghunaths among my associates. From this day forward, this Raghunath should be known as the Raghu of Swarup Damodar, Swarupera Raghu. Swarupera Raghu. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had 3 Raghus among his associates. Vaidya Raghunath, Bhatta Raghunath, and Dasha Raghunath. Dasha Raghunath became celebrated as Swarupera Raghu, as the Raghunatha Swarup. Etakohe Raghunatera Hastadharila Swarupera Hastetare Samarpana Koila. Seeing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu grasped the hand of Raghunath Das and entrusted him to the hands of Swarup Damodar Goswami. Swarup Kohe Mahaprabhur Agya Hoila Eta Kohe Raghunate Puna Alingila. Swarup Damodar Goswami accepted Raghunath Das, saying, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what you order is accepted. He then embraced Raghunath Das again. Chaitanyara Bhakta Vatsalya Kohite Napari Govindere Kohe Raghunate Dayakori. I cannot properly express the affection of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for his devotees. Being merciful toward Raghunath Das, the Lord spoke as follows to Govinda. Pate iho korijache bahutal langan katadin kora ihar balo santarpan. On the way, Raghunath Das has fasted and undergone hardships for many days. Therefore, take good care of him for some days so that he may eat to his satisfaction. Raghunath Kohe Jana Kora Sindhusnan Jagannath Ashe Koraha Bojan. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das, go bathe in the sea, then see Lord Jagannath in the temple, and return here to take your meal. Eta bole Prabhu Madhyana Korite Utila Raghunath Das Sab Bhaktere Milila. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got up and went to perform his midday duties, and Raghunath met all the devotees present. Raghunate Prabhur Kripa Deki Bhaktagan Bishmita Hoya Kore Tara Bhagya Prasamsan. Having seen the causeless mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu upon Raghunath Das, all the devotees, struck with wonder, praised his good fortune. Raghunatha Samudre Jaya Snana Korila Jagunatha Deki Puna Govinda Pasha Aila. Raghunath Das took his bath in the sea and saw Lord Jagannath. Then he returned to Govinda, the personal servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhora Avashishta Patra Govinda Taridila Anandita Hoya Raghunatha Prashada Paila. Govinda offered him a plate with the remnants of food left by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Raghunath Das accepted the prasadam with great happiness. Emata rohetehos swarupa charane Govinda prasada tare dila panchadine. Raghunath Das stayed under the care of Swarup Damodar Goswami, and Govinda supplied him remnants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's food for 5 days. Aradin hoite pushpa agyadi dekiya. Aradin hoite pushpa anjali dekiya. Simadware kararohe bikara lagiya. Beginning from the 6th day, Raghunath Das would stand at the gate known as Simadwar to beg alms after the Pushpa Anjali ceremony, in which flowers were offered to the Lord. Jagannath era Sevaka Jata Vishayaragan Seva Sari Ratriye Kore Grihete Gaman. After finishing their prescribed duties, the many servants of Lord Jagannath, who are known as Vishayis, return home at night. Simadware Anarti Vaishnave Dekiya Pashan Rira Tai Ana Dena Kripa Takoriya. If they see a Vaishnav standing at the Simadwar begging alms, out of mercy they arrange with the shopkeepers to give him something to eat. Emata Sarvakala Ache Vyabahar Niskenchana Bhakta Kara Hoy Simadwar. Thus it is a custom for all time that a devotee has no other means of support, stands at the Simadwara gate to receive alms from the servants. Alms in this case means food. Sarvadina Koran Vaishnava Nama Sankirtan Swachande Korana Jagannatha Darshana. A completely dependent Vaishnava thus chants the holy name of the Lord all day and sees Lord Jagannath with full freedom. Keho Chatre Magi Kai Jeva Kichubai Keho Ratre Bikalage Simadware Rai. It is a custom for some Vaishnavas to beg from the charity booths and eat whatever they obtain, whereas others stand at night at the Simadwar gate begging alms from the servants. Mahaprabhur Bhaktaganer Vairagya Pradhan Jadeki Prita Hana Gora Bhagavan. Renunciation is the basic principle sustaining the lives of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees. Seeing this renunciation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is extremely satisfied. Anyone, whether an ordinary materialistic person or a pure devotee, can understand the behavior of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees if he studies it minutely. One will thus find that the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are not at all attached to any kind of material enjoyment. They have completely given up sense enjoyment. They have completely given up sense enjoyment to engage fully in the service of Lord Sri Krishna and dedicate their lives and souls to serving Krishna without material desires. Because their devotional service is free from material desires, it is unimpeded by material circumstances. Although ordinary men have great difficulty understanding this attitude of the devotees, it is greatly appreciated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhure Govinda Kohe Raghunath Prasharan Aloy Pratriye Simadware Kara Hoyamagij Kai. Govinda said to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Raghunath Das no longer takes prasadam here. Now he stands at the Simadwara where he begs some alms to eat. Shuni Tushtahaya Prabhu Kahite Lagila Balog Koila Vairagir Dharma Acharila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, he was greatly satisfied. Raghunath Das has done well, he said. He has acted suitably for a person in the renounced order. He is engaged in Vairag Dharma. Vairage koribe sada nama sankirtan magiya kana kore jnana rakana. A person in the renounced order, or a vairagi, should always chant the holy name of the Lord. He should beg some alms to eat, and he should sustain his life in this way. As stated in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, at the end of the 20th Vilas, Krityani etani tu praya grihinam daninam satam likitani natu chakta parigraha mahatmanam prabhate chardaratre cha madhyane divasa chaye kirtayanti harim Jevai te tarante bhavarnavam evam ekantinam braya kirtanam smaranam prabho korvatam paramapritya krityam anyam narochate. A well-to-do householder Vaishnava cannot live like a person in the renounced order who completely takes shelter of the holy name. Such a householder should chant the holy name of Krishna in the morning, at midday, and in the evening. Then he will be able to cross beyond nations. Pure devotees in the renounced order, however, who fully surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna, should chant the holy name of the Lord with great love and faith, always thinking of Krishna's lotus feet. They should have no occupation other than chanting the holy name of the Lord. In the Bhakti Sandarbha, Srila Jiva Goswami says, Jadiyapi Sri Bhagavata Mate Pancha Ratradi Bad Archana Mar Gasya Vasya Katvam Nasti Tadvinapi Sharanapati Adinam ekatarenapi purushartha siddher abhihitatvat. It is Srimad Bhagavatam's opinion that the process of deity worship is not actually necessary, just as the specific prescriptions of the Pancharatra and other scriptures do not have to be followed. The Bhagavatam explains that even without practicing deity worship, one can achieve the complete success of human life by any of the other devotional processes, such as simply offering oneself at the Lord's feet for his protection. Vairage hoya jeba kore paraspeka. Vairage hoya jeba kore parapeka. Karya siddhi nahe Krishna korana upeka. A vairagi, a person in the renounced order, should not depend on others. If he does so, he will be unsuccessful and he will be neglected by Krishna. Vairage haya kore jivara lalasa paramartha jaya ara hoy rasera vasa. If a renunciant is eager for his tongue to taste different foods, his spiritual life will be lost, and he will be subservient to the taste of his tongue. Vairagyara kritya sara nama sankirtan shaka patra phalan mule udara baran. The duty of a person in the renounced order is to chant the Hare Krishna mantra always. He should satisfy his belly with whatever vegetables, leaves, fruits, and roots are available. Jivara lala se jay iti uti dai Vishnuda. Jivara lala se jay iti uti dai Hishnodara Parajana Krishna Nahi Pai. One who is subservient to the tongue and who thus goes here and there, devoted to the genitals and the belly, cannot attain Krishna. Aradin Raghunath das Charane Apanara Krityalage Koila Nivedane. The next day, Raghunath Das inquired at the lotus feet of Swarup Damodar about his duty. Kilage Chadaila Gara Najani Udesh Kimora Kartavya Prabhu Koru Upadesh. I do not know why I have given up household life, he said. What is my duty? Kindly give me instructions. Prabhura Age Katamatra Na Kohe Raghunath. Swarup Govinda Dwara Kahaya Nijabad. Raghunath Das never even spoke a word before the Lord. Instead, he informed the Lord of his desires through Swarup Damodar Goswami and Govinda. Prabhura Age Swarup Nivedila Aradine Raghunatha Nivedaya Prabhura Charane. The next day, Swarup Damodar submitted to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Raghunath Das has this to say at your lotus feet. Kimora Kartavya Mui Najani Udesh Apane Shri Muke More Kora Upadesh. I do not know my duty or the goal of life. Therefore, please personally give me instructions from your transcendental mouth, from your divine mouth. Hasema Prabhu Raghunath Tere Kohila Tomaru Upadeshta Kore Swarupere Dila. Smiling, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das, I have already appointed Swarup Damodar Goswami as your instructor. Sadhya Sadama Sadhya Sadhana Tattva Shika Iharastane Amitata Nahi Jani Iho Jata Jane. You may learn from him what your duty is and how to discharge it. I do not know as much as he. Tatapi amara gaya shraddha jadi hoy amara e bhakye tabe korea nisjoy. Nevertheless, if you want to take instructions from me with faith and love, you may ascertain your duties from the following words. Gramya kata na shunibe, gramya varta na kahibe, balona kaibe, ara balona paribe. Do not talk like people in general or hear what they say. You should not eat very palatable food, nor should you dress very nicely. Amani manadahaya Krishna nama sadalabe braje radha Krishna seva manase koribe. Do not expect honor, but offer all respect to others. Always chant the holy name of Lord Krishna, and within your mind render service to Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in his Amrita Pravaha Bhashya that when a man and woman are married, they beget children and are thus entangled in family life. Talk concerning such family life is called Gramya Kata. A person in the renounced order never indulges in either hearing or talking about such subjects. He should not eat palatable dishes, since that is unfit for a person in the renounced order. He should show all respect to others, but should not expect respect for himself. In this way, one should chant the holy name of the Lord and think of how to serve Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. Eta sankepyame koilun upadesh sarupera tai ihar paibi vishesh. I briefly given you my instructions. Now you will get all details about them from Swarup Damodar. Trinadapi sunichena taror eva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One who thinks himself lower than grass who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not expect personal honor, but is always prepared to give respect to others, can very easily always chant the holy name of the Lord. Eta Shuni Raghunatha Bandila Charan Mahaprabhu Koilatari Kripa Lingan. Having heard this, Raghunath Das offered prayers at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the Lord, out of great mercy, embraced him. Puna Samar Pilatare Swaruperastane Antaranga Seva Kore Swaruperasane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again entrusted him to Swarup Damodar. Thus Raghunath Das rendered very confidential service with Swarup Damodar Goswami. Antaranga Seva refers to service performed in one's spiritual body. Swarup Damodar Goswami was formerly Lalita Devi. Raghunath das Goswami, who was among his assistants, now also began to serve Radha and Krishna within his mind. Enakali Aila Sab Godera Bhaktagan Purvavat Prabhu Savai Korila Milan. At that time, all the devotees from Bengal arrived, and as previously, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met with them with great feeling. So I'm going to stop here. Tomorrow we'll continue. So for now, sing Hari Harai. Hari Harai Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama. Hari Harai Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama. Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama. Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan. Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatam Bhatta Raghunath. Jai Rupa Sanatam Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath. H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan. H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan. Jaoite Vignana Shabista Puran. Jaoite Vignana Shabista Puran. H.I. Gosai Jar Mui Taradas. H.I. Gosai Jar Mui Taradas. Tasavar Pada Renu Mora Panchagras. Tasavar Pada Renu Mora Panchagras. Tader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas. Tader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas. Janame Janame More Abilas. Janame Janame More Abilas. H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas. H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas. Radha Krishna Nitya-lila Korila Prakash. Radha Krishna Nitya-lila Korila Prakash. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Shri Guru Vaishnava Padema Jayaman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Padema Jayaman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas. Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narottam Das. Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narottam Das. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas. Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narottam Das. Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narottam Das. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Tilak Nehru Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtatara Satashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtatara Satashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupa Nuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Vishvavaranya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Bhakti Kushamashram Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Sri Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Sri Kuladvip Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Sokel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Sevashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan. Shamkuna Radhakunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo Ki Jai. Shri Purushottam ki jai, Baladev Subhadra Jagannath ki jai, Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya Shrina Shringadev ki jai, Bhakta Prabhara Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Kartik Vrata ki jai, Shri Damodar Vrata ki jai, Shri Niyama Seva ki jai, Shri Urja Vrata ki jai. All the assembled devotees ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.